Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Mountain Harmony Gardening. I'm Kristen, and today we're going to be talking about, can you really garden with a disability? This is kind of a little bit of a controversial topic because some people will say you cannot garden with a disability, that it's not good for you. And other people will say that gardening is wonderful if you have a disability. And for me personally, I have said before that I have fibromyalgia, which is a disability. I also have a 2% whole body disability from an accident when I was, I think I was about 19 when it happened, and it was a work injury. And also, I have an anxiety disorder. So there's kind of a lot of things that might keep me out of the garden, but I have found that they are a huge benefit. And we're going to go over what fibromyalgia is and how it affects me. And then we're going to talk about the benefits of gardening. First, I'm going to tell you what fibromyalgia is. So I have had fibromyalgia for almost 10 years now, and it's widespread pain throughout your whole entire body. And it feels like you have the flu, but 10 times worse. So it's like all the body aches and pains that you get from that, but it's way amplified, and you feel it throughout your whole body because it's a musculoskeletal pain that you end up getting. And they say that it's from like your nerve endings. And after doing some research, because I've been doing research on it for about 10 years, they're saying that you're actually not in pain, that it's a pain that your body and your mind remembers and that you suffer through. So it causes also really bad fatigue. So for me, it's hard to get out in the garden some days, but once I'm out here, I feel a lot better. But there are days, and I'll put a picture up on the screen. I had Donnie take a picture of me a few days ago when I was having a really bad flare-up of what it looks like for me to have fibromyalgia, and I cannot get off the sofa. Also, you have memory issues and cognitive issues. They call it fibromyalgia fog, and it really does feel like you've either got cotton in your head or you just can't think straight and you're walking through a fog. And I will have a really hard time remembering things, and I can't talk very well. Like even today, after a long day at work, I am really tired, so it's harder for me to kind of think straight. But for fibromyalgia, the fog that you get, it is really strange because you may be thinking clearly, but you can't communicate really well. You will also stutter, and I've left that in my videos because I want everybody to see what I am actually like in everyday life, and that even though you may have a disability, you can still garden. Another thing is that you don't get good sleep. I try to go to bed early, but you wake up frequently. You wake up feeling like you didn't get a good night's sleep, and that happens a lot. And I have tried several different beds. I've even slept on the couch, and you still wake up feeling like you didn't get enough sleep. Also, with fibromyalgia, there's a bunch of different other things that can happen along with it. Like you get headaches, and I do get headaches quite often, and they're like tension headaches. You can have joint disorders, and I do, it feels like sometimes that like my joints are hurting and that maybe I have arthritis. You also can have IBS. I don't believe I have that, but I do have some other types of bowel issues. Anxiety and depression. I already have an anxiety disorder, so I really don't need that amplified, but when I get stressed out, I notice that I end up having a flare up. And another thing that you can have is depression with it, which I think I said. So it's a whole host of symptoms that I end up getting. And between the anxiety disorder and the fibromyalgia, if I'm under any amount of stress, it causes some really bad flare ups where all I want to do is sit here and cry. And it's really hard for me sometimes to face the day. But what I've found is that coming out in the garden every morning, on the days that I have off that I'm not going to work at 5:30 in the morning, if I can get out here and just walk around my garden, look at my beautiful flowers, see what's growing and what's not, it really makes a huge difference in my life. It also affects more women than men. I have found that to be true in my life, at least, because I have more friends who suffer with fibromyalgia that are women, and I don't know of actually any men who suffer at all with fibromyalgia. So if you suffer from fibromyalgia, definitely put it down in the comments below and let me know, if you're a man or a woman and what you suffer through. Like, what do you do to combat it also? So those are some of the kind of symptoms and what I deal with on an everyday basis. Since I've been doing research on fibromyalgia, when I first found out I had it over the about 10 years, there are many different speculations as to what causes fibromyalgia. They really don't know for sure, but they say that it could be genetics. Now, I'm the only one in my family who has fibromyalgia, to my knowledge. I don't know of anybody else who has it. They also talk about having an infection, but I can't think of anything that I would have had before the fibromyalgia started, for me at least. And they also say that emotional or physical events like trauma can also cause fibromyalgia. I have PTSD, and I'm going to be very candid. Before Donnie, I was married to someone else, so this is my second marriage. And my first husband was extremely abusive. So I have PTSD because of that relationship. And until I started going to counseling for the emotional trauma that I went through, I didn't have fibromyalgia. It wasn't until it kind of started dredging up the past and everything and having to relive those events every day did the fibromyalgia start for me. And I remember exactly when it started for me. And I thought I had a really bad cold until I realized it didn't go away. And then I went to the doctor and we tried some different medications. That's one of the things that you can do for it. Unfortunately for me, they did not work, but there's some other natural things that you can do to kind of help the fibromyalgia as well. Relaxation is huge, and I do relax a lot. I realize that I only have so much energy per day that I can put into certain tasks, and when my body says that it's done, it's really done for the day, and I have to know that I have to stop, or else I will end up having a really bad flare-up the next day and I can't do anything. So I know my limits. Another thing is stress reduction. I have a very stressful job that I work at, and it definitely takes its toll on me. It's also very, very physical. So it's, kind of hard sometimes. But I do try to do stress reduction techniques like meditation and such. And gardening for me is a huge stress reliever. The other thing is exercise. And if I'm out in the garden, I am definitely getting exercise just by being out here and bending down and everything else. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you is the benefits of gardening with a disability. So all the benefits of gardening doesn't just apply to people with fibromyalgia. You can apply this to pretty much any disability. You have to take it in moderation though, and only do what you know that your body can handle. But here are some of the wonderful benefits of gardening with a disability. So physical activity is first, and people with fibromyalgia definitely need to get their exercise. Yes, sometimes we can overdo it and we have to know our limits. But it helps with like cognitive skills and motor skills. So that's good because definitely cognitive skills for me, I definitely need that. but it also helps to keep you flexible. And with the bending down and getting back up and walking around your garden, that helps keep me flexible, because there are definitely days where bending down for me gets a little bit harder. But if I keep doing it, it helps keep me healthy and active. And that definitely helps with the fibromyalgia and, like we're saying, like all the joint kind of pains and the other pains that you get. Also, it's a social outlet. I have definitely got all of you guys. So I love to talk to people about gardening. I ran into someone at Costco this last weekend who happened to ask me about bulbs. And I'm like, oh, well, I have a YouTube channel and I can definitely help you. What do you need to know? So it definitely brings people together, and that helps you live longer. I have seen lots of research done where it says that you need to keep being social the older that you get, because it helps you live longer. I've seen some documentaries on it. Pretty cool if you think about it. Also, with gardening, I like to take a holistic approach with the organic gardening and also being an herbalist. So you talk about healing the body, the mind, and the soul. And for me, gardening heals the body because you're active. For me, the soul, it feels good when I'm out here. It definitely reduces my stress. And my mind, which would be like, I can sit here and I can do meditation, I can lay on my hammock and I can relax. It's just a whole body experience for me. I mean, I really do feel better every time I come out into my gardening. Also, gardening can give you a sense of purpose. So, like for me, I'm growing food for my family. And also, I like to come out here and see my beautiful flowers that are blooming. And it is really wonderful. And you can experiment with your garden too, and you can like grow a lot of different types of food, and then you can give it away to other people and you can share the experience. It's absolutely wonderful. And I think a leaf just hit me in the head. I was like, what is that? It's fall here. The leaves are falling out of the trees. So also with gardening, it releases high levels of serotonin and dopamine. So you kind of get that feel-good sensation when you're out here that I talk about all the time. And it also helps you relax. Just being out in nature, like people take a walk. That's why I take a walk around my garden, or you can take a walk out in nature. It's the same thing. It helps you relax. It gets you active and moving. So gardening is definitely a benefit for somebody who has disabilities. And you can modify your garden. Like if you're in a wheelchair, do raised beds that are about like this high. And then that way you can still garden and be outside, but you've elevated it. And so you can definitely work around your disabilities and garden anywhere. It's wonderful. I highly recommend it. So today you kind of got a glimpse into my personal life with what I kind of suffer through on a daily basis. I want to be real with all of you. I want to make sure that you see what it's really like, who I am, and that I want to inspire you that no matter what, you can get out into the garden. And definitely feel free in the comments to share all of your experiences with me, because as a community, we can learn from each other, and we can also promote each other, like help each other feel better, lift each other up. That's what I want to do with this channel, is we're going to learn and we're going to lift each other up, and it's going to be a positive experience. So thank you for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. We're almost to 500 subscribers. This is so fantastic. I couldn't do this without all of you, and you are all an inspiration to me. And you really do make me feel wonderful when I read your comments, and I know that you are enjoying the videos. So happy gardening, everyone.